I had a product do 9.4 million views on TikTok. 9.4 million. And it barely did $1,000 in sales that entire week. At that point, I had two choices. I could keep telling myself the next video is going to convert better, or I could accept what the data was literally screaming at me, that this product was done. And that every day I kept posting was a day I was wasting on not building the next thing. I chose wrong that time, by the way. I kept posting. And I want to make sure that you don't make that same mistake. Because the question that stumps more beginners in organic dropshipping than anything else is, when do I drop a product? Quit too early and you leave money on the table. Drag it on too long and you waste weeks, or sometimes maybe even months, trying to revive a product that was already dead. In this video, I'm giving you the exact signs that a product is telling you it's over, and more importantly, the system that I use to make that call cleanly without having to second guess myself. Stay to the end, because the final video that I bring up in this video is actually the step that removes the guesswork completely. Quick context so you know that this isn't just theory. Me and my friend Mike started organic in high school. No ads, no capital, just us two making TikToks after school, before it was cool and before anyone else was doing it. And we built the foundation of everything that we know from organic. We ended up doing 6 figures with it, switching over to paid ads, helping other people achieve the same results that we had, and eventually we dropped out of college. And now we're building real brands and have grown our free dropshipping course to over 250,000 members. And I'm telling you, this is one of the top questions that we get. Dom, when do I know it's time to drop a product? I've personally been through it with the Anyface store, the 9.4 million view video that I just told you about. And I've actually seen students drag on dead products for 1 to 2 months because they didn't have a framework to follow. And I've also seen students post for 2 to 3 weeks with a product, but give up right before they're about to make it big. So I've been on both sides of this, and I want to give you the clearest possible picture on how to read it correctly. These are 5 signs that your product is telling you it's over. And then there's one system that makes the final call for you. Let's get into it. The first sign is the one that nobody talks about, but it's honestly one of the realest. Your confidence is gone. Here's what that looks like in practice. In the beginning, you believed in your product. You were excited to film. You were thinking about angles in the shower, before bed. You were texting friends, calling your shot, saying, this video is about to go viral. That energy was there. But now you're forcing it. You're posting because you feel like you have to, not because you want to. The videos get lazier, the hooks get weaker, and you're just going through the motions, making the same framework that you were making 3 weeks ago without any remix. And here's the thing that most people don't realize. Viewers can feel that through the screen. I genuinely believe this. Short form content is one of the most sensitive mediums that exists, and the algorithm can tell. Your viewers can tell. When you're making content that you care about, there's a spark to it. But when you're making content out of obligation, there simply isn't. And I noticed this with myself with that Anyface store. After that 9.4 million view video didn't convert, I continued posting, but I was posting from a place of desperation, not a place of belief. And you could hear it. The voiceovers sounded flatter and the energy wasn't the same. Now, this is important. Losing conviction does not automatically mean that it's time to quit. Sometimes you can lose that spark because you're tired, not because the product itself is dying. So you need to be honest with yourself here. Is this a product problem or is this an energy problem? If you sleep on it for a day and you still don't care about the product, and if you genuinely can't find an angle that excites you, that's your gut telling you something. It's time to move on from the product. This one is a data sign, not a feeling sign, and it's arguably the most important one to catch early. You're getting views. Maybe you've even had a video in the 6-figure range, maybe one to pop over 1 million. People are watching, but the sales are 0, or even worse, 1 sale here, couple sales there, nothing consistent. Here's what's actually happening when that's the case. Your product doesn't own the purchase. What I mean is this: if someone watches your video and thinks to themselves, whoa, that's pretty cool, but they go straight to Amazon, or if they close the app and forget about it, your product is not unique enough for them to buy from you specifically. This is something that I cover in depth in my free course, studydropshipping.com. Chapter 4 is all about product criteria, and one of the biggest boxes a product needs to check is that it solves a real problem and provides real value. It has that spark where someone doesn't just see the product, laugh at it, and send it to their friend. They see the product and immediately feel, I need that in my life at any cost necessary. When a product has this quality, the views actually convert. People feel urgency to buy it right now because they've never seen anything like it. And when a product lacks that or has lost it through saturation, people watch, enjoy the video, and move on. There's not enough there for them to actually buy. Again, I lived this with the Anyface store. The celebrity face masks were viral content. I mean, look at this. All of a sudden, I'm 2-time finals MVP Kevin Durant, and I'm about to hop on my Twitter burner. But when that 9.4 million view video dropped, it took a full week to bring in $1,000 in sales. And that's not a marketing problem, that's a product problem. It could also just have been a market timing problem now that I reflect on it, because a few months after that video went viral, my account organically brought in 400,000 views just from people searching for the product. And those 400,000 views converted to $5,000 in sales. Going from 1K rev generated from 9 million views to 5K generated from 400,000 views was definitely insane. And I talk about it more in this reel on my Instagram, so you can go watch that after this video. Don't click off. But if you're sitting right now on a product getting consistent views but not consistent sales, ask yourself honestly, is there a version of my product like this on Amazon? Would someone who watches my video go from the video straight to Amazon and just buy it from there? Is there any quality that my product has that when the target audience sees it, they just need to have it in their life? If no to both of those, might be time to move on. The goal is to have a product that's actually worthy of purchases that people also feel they want to buy from your store specifically, not just Amazon. This one is specifically about your content ability. And it's a sign that a lot of people overlook because they think that simply grinding harder is going to get them through the problem. Here's the sign. You've run out of ideas. Not I'm tired, run out of ideas. You've actually run out of ideas. You've done prototype versus product videos. You've done unboxing. You've done AI angles. You've tried different series and you've exhausted every single thing about your product that is controversial. You literally cannot think of a single new framework which you haven't yet made. In chapter 8 of my free course at studydropshipping.com, we talk about how the best products are the ones where the content almost makes itself. I'm really going to throw it back here. Think back to Mike and I's old store Hype Soles. Me and Mike's old hype boosting insole product. We could do customer support videos, controversy videos, hiding these from my friends in my shoes angles. We could do the wife's boyfriend series, reaction videos, challenges. We could do any video we wanted with it. The product had natural controversy baked into it, so the ideas kept coming. These are the best products when they have an ecosystem to them. They create engagement, which creates more ideas, which creates more videos and more ideas, and then it keeps going round and round and round. There's a flywheel there. But when that flywheel stops and you can't create any more new angles, and when you've mined every controversy angle, and when every video is just a remake of another remake, that's probably the product ceiling revealing itself to you. And here's the honest truth. If you've genuinely exhausted your content ability and the product has not yet popped, it's not gonna pop from you posting the same frameworks again. The content is the engine. Now, I wanna distinguish this from a normal lull. Early on with a product, it is very normal to feel like you're running out of ideas. But that's usually a brainstorming problem, not a content ability problem. So go back to your burner account, study competitors, see if there's any angles that you haven't yet made. But if you've done all that and you still can't find a fresh angle, the product's content ceiling is real and you might have hit it. I'm gonna call something out here that a lot of people do not want to hear. Some of you right now are selling a product where you continually are telling yourself, I'm gonna find a cheaper supplier, a cheaper listing somewhere on the internet. I know I'll find it and increase my margins. And once I find that better supplier, everything about the business will be better. It's not a plan, it's hope. And hope is not how you source your products. In chapter 4 of studydropshipping.com, we're very specific about this. For organic dropshipping, you need to 2x your product cost at minimum. So if you're sourcing a product for $12, you need to be selling it for at least $24. Ideally 3 to 4x though. And your price point needs to be competitive with Amazon. Your product can't be $15 more expensive than the average price on Amazon, especially when they can get Prime 2-day shipping. If those two conditions aren't being met right now, and you still haven't found a supplier that makes that math work, that's a sign. Not a sign to immediately quit, but a sign that your product has a structural problem, not a content problem. I've been here personally as a beginner years ago. With one of my first store's Vortex bottles, I was sourcing the product at way too high of a cost. I was trying to sell this portable blender for $39.99 when most listings on Amazon were going for $15 to $20. People would watch my videos, and if they wanted the product and they were interested, they'd go to Amazon and buy it for $20 to $25 less. The product failed partly because of the content, but mainly because the math was simply never right. What's sneaky about this sign is that it doesn't feel like a product problem at the surface. You're still convinced that the product can pop, and maybe it can for someone with the right supplier who doesn't have to list their product as 10 times more expensive than Amazon. But if you can't get there with the right pricing, it's not your fault. It just means that this particular product in your hands with your current supplier isn't the one. So set a deadline on your search for a supplier. Give yourself one more week to find a supplier that allows you to sell your product for 2x the product cost and compete with Amazon pricing. If you can't find it by then, it might not exist and it might be time to move on. Trust me, you would way rather be going viral with a product with better margins that doesn't send a ton of customer traffic to Amazon. All right, sign number 5. And this one requires a little bit of pattern recognition that you can only build over time. So I'm gonna give you the most concrete example I know, the flame fuser. And the reason I bring this up is because my business partner, Mike, was actually the very first person to ever sell it. If you've been in dropshipping for any amount of time, you already know what this product is. It's a diffuser with orange LEDs that makes the steam look like fire. And when it first hit, this thing had an 11, or no, a 100 out of 10 wow factor. Like the best wow factor that anyone had ever seen in organic dropshipping. Legitimately an incredible product that everyone had to stop their scroll and watch. Like I said, Mike was the first person to sell it, and even when he was the only one selling it, the high price point did make it hard to convert it, but the wow factor was undeniable. Fast forward a few months, every person in the dropshipping space has ran the flame fuser. Every beginner has tried to sell it, and now you've seen it 30, 40, 50 times on your feed. And the moment that you see the product again, what are you gonna do? You're gonna scroll. Not because the product is bad, but because it doesn't have that wow factor anymore. You've seen it a million times. You already know what it does. There's no mystery left. There's no reason for you to stop scrolling and give it your time of day. There's no more of people saying, wait, what is that? This is one of the trickiest things to diagnose because you can really only develop an eye for this after being in the game for some time. But here's a practical test that you can run right now. Go to your TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook burner account and search for your product. How many accounts are selling it? How many videos have millions of views on them? Are those videos from 6 months ago? Are they recent? If you're finding dozens of accounts running the same frameworks over and over again, past or present, might be time to drop the product. But a saturated product doesn't mean it's necessarily dead for everyone, but it means the window is much smaller. Your content has to be significantly more creative than everyone who's came before you because you don't have the natural scroll stop advantage anymore. You have to create the wow factor through storytelling and execution. And if you're not confident that you can do that, if you can't look at the competitive landscape and say, I have an angle that's never been done, that's a real sign to move on. Okay, we've gone through the 5 signs and you've probably been nodding along thinking, yeah, I've felt some of that with my product. But here's the problem with the signs. They're subjective. They require self-awareness in a moment where you're extremely emotionally invested. You tell yourself it's going to turn around. And when you're emotionally invested, you rationalize. That's why you need a system, not just signs. And this is what I call the product decision checkpoint. You set it before you ever start selling. And when you hit it, the data either tells you to stay or to go. Not your feelings, not your ego, not your sunk costs. Here's how to build it. Step 1, set your video commitment. Before you start selling your product, commit to a certain number of videos that you're gonna make. No more and no less. I recommend 50 unique videos posted if you're a beginner. So really, you're posting 200 times if you're taking those 50 unique videos and posting it to TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. That's roughly 2 to 3 weeks of posting 3 to 4 times per day. And in my opinion, this is the minimum viable test for any product. Any less than this, and you really haven't given the algorithm an opportunity to find your target audience. But if you're more of an intermediate dropshipper, test for 2 weeks and make 30 unique videos since you're already a skilled content creator. Step 2, set your view threshold. By the time you've hit your video commitment, the following benchmarks tell you if you should either continue posting or give up the product. For a beginner, after 50 videos, if none of them have hit 10,000 views, drop the product. The content isn't landing, the product has no wow factor, your execution needs to be tweaked, or maybe all of the above. For intermediate, after 30 videos, if none of them have hit 10,000 views, drop the product. If at least one video crosses 10,000 views, make 20 more videos. And with those additional 20, if one of them breaks 100,000 views, keep posting. If none reach 100,000 views, drop the product. Step 3, set your sales floor. If your content is getting views, meaning that you've cleared that threshold, you need to see at minimum 5 to 10 orders by the time that you've hit your video commitment. Not $1,000 days or consistent $500 days, just proof that your product converts at all. Because if you've had 10 videos break 10K views, but you haven't converted any of that to sales, product is failing to own the purchase. And that's a structural problem, not a volume problem. Step 4, evaluate with all 3 together. Here's the key. You don't make an evaluation just based off one of these. You look at all 3 together. Videos posted. Did I actually post the volume? Views threshold. Is the content resonating? Sales floor. Is it converting? If you hit the video commitment, clear the views threshold, and have at least some sales, you're in the game. Keep going, optimize your content, tweak your site based on what you see your target audience talking about, as well as your offers, because you have the green light to keep going. If you hit the video commitment and the views aren't there, your content needs work. This is usually a product selection issue or an execution issue. Before quitting, audit your hooks, your pacing, your frameworks. If you hit the video commitment, the views are there, but the sales aren't, this is the most brutal outcome. And it's the clearest sign to move on. The product lacks the uniqueness to own the purchase at scale. And a 9.4 million view video taught me that personally. And here's why having this framework matters so much. When you've pre-committed to a specific checkpoint, you can't gaslight yourself. You can't say, I just need 1 more week, because you set the standard before you were emotionally attached. And when you hit it, the numbers tell the truth. Beginners who quit without this framework either bail after 2 weeks because their product didn't pop, which is way too early, or they dragged the dead product on for months because they never had an exit condition. Give the product the full test, make it to the checkpoint, and let the data decide. Here's the last thing I want to say before I send you off. There is a narrative in this space that quitting a product is a failure. That if you don't ride it until it works, pause, you're weak or impatient. But that's not how the best operators in the dropshipping space think. Every single store I've studied, including my own, had a graveyard of products that didn't work. Products that got shelved, stores that got shut down. But that is part of the process. And take it from me personally, your ability to read a product clearly and cut it at the right time is as value your ability to find a winning product in the first place. That's the skill. And now you have the framework to develop it. If you've been sitting on a product for a while, not knowing if you should continue or drop it, and this video helped you realize what you're gonna do, drop a comment and let me know what you decided. I read every single comment. And if you want the full foundation, organic marketing, product research, website creation, everything that me and Mike have learned, our 8-hour free course is linked in the very top link of the description. No catch, no credit card needed. I mean, obviously when you sign up for Shopify or Commercive, yes, you're gonna have to put in your credit card. To access the value, no credit card needed. Like the video if this helped, subscribe if you want more of this, and I'll see you in the next one.